Hey, it's Amanda, and you are watching a segment from 100 Videos in 100 Days. This started out as a challenge to myself to prove that freedom can come from authenticity and vulnerability, and that life doesn't have to be perfect or look perfect, it doesn't have to feel perfect to be valuable, to really be valuable. And that you don't have to wait to share your gifts till it all looks a certain way. And this is also about what the cost is of waiting to share your gifts. I didn't have a YouTube channel before this. I never did a video of myself. I didn't even like to see myself in camera. So am I scared every time I do this? Yes. But I'm here. I'm showing up, because I'm committed to this conversation about freedom. And the freer I get, I believe the freer you will get. So I invite you to participate as you can. There's no editing here. I get one take. So if it all goes to hell, you go with me. There may be swearing, there may be crying. I may get up and walk around. It's the game. It's authentic and vulnerable. I will look different every day. So that's really the point of it, is in life there's no editing, there's no redos. So who are you going to be? How are you going to show up? What would that look like? And what would be possible if you just showed up exactly as you were and let the cards fall? Would that be freeing? It is to me. And if it is to you, I hope you get something out of these. If there's anything that I say that rubs you wrong or feels off, discard it immediately. It's not for you. It's for whoever needs it, and most likely for me. So when this turns off and the next one turns on, I will be sitting here quietly with my eyes closed. You're not walking into any special session that you're not supposed to see. Everything's transparent here. So I started this to have context in the beginning, because I can see people are jumping in the middle of the series, and I just want to make sure everyone feels included. So I will see you soon. It's interesting, because when I check in to say what I'm feeling in this moment, you automatically kind of want to go with whatever your mind is telling you. And I feel disconnected, I feel disjointed, I feel lost, loopy, something like that. That's what this is saying. And if I sink down in here and I'm present, I think there's a little bit of nervousness, there's a little bit of anxiousness, restlessness, something like that. There's a different experience totally from what's going on up here to down here. What's tricky is this runs like 90% of our life. We don't believe that, we don't like to believe that. But they say the subconscious mind is something like 95% of our experience, and we only see 5% of even what's going on around us. That's how heavily it weighs in on what we think, what we feel, what we resist, what we run towards, run from. It's running the show. And I knew when I took on this experiment, there was going to be peaks and valleys, and there was no way around it. But I think that's what I signed up for, is to feel everything I was going to feel in that, and not run from it, hide, resist. Use resistance just because my mind every day is like, no, just knock it off, you're an idiot. But the other day I mentioned a book by Dr. John Sarno. And I really don't let myself off the hook about things, meaning if I share something with you, I've either done it, tested it out with a lot of people, or I go get the books and do what I'm talking about. So I went and ordered all of his books. Something called to me about it, even though it is freaking scary. Because basically it's saying your body is just showing everything that your subconscious doesn't want you to know. So if you think you feel pain, it's your subconscious trying to cover up something that doesn't want you to see. So if you can be distracted by pain or different physical symptoms or stomach ache or a twitch or whatever, it just is deflecting all the time. So that you don't actually feel whatever it was you shoved down or checked out from or whatever it was. So in the beginning I was excited about it because it's just like, you need to exercise. You know, I know they'll say you have an injury, but you've got to do it to retrain your mind that your body's, that you're in charge of your body and stuff. So I was excited by things I could do. And I was surprised by a lot of information because I've studied things for so long and I was raised in it. And then came the hard part, and I'm only in like however many pages in, was something called the rage versus soothe, something like that. So I started reading it and it was talking about how humans that have the ability to soothe, even though they feel angry, which is actually healthy, it's a normal emotion, but they have ways to balance it out through play and through relaxation and hobbies and socializing and all this kind of stuff. And so they're saying if you didn't learn how to do that, you're going to feel trauma at a completely different level in your body and in your mind. So go play, go socialize, do these things, right? I have no idea how to do that. What a weird thing, right? It's just weird, right? That is more daunting to me than most anything you could assign me. Like, go freely play for the sake of playing because it's good for your body. Give me a stressful situation, that's what I know. And I'm a playful person, clearly a smart ass. I like to make things fun. But even if I throw a party, it's not just, hey, everyone come over and let's hang out. It's an event. And I require myself to learn 3 things in every party I have. A new thing to cook, a new type of decoration. I have all these requirements of myself. I don't know who told me to do that. But just the thought of playing for the sake of playing is it's terrifying. It's so hard not to feel judged about that too, because it's just like I feel like people go, what the fuck's wrong with you? Man, you're screwed up. I think my filter, my frame of reference is, yeah, I've got a lot of shattered cracks in there somewhere. So I cried a lot last night with the fear of that I wouldn't know how to play. So how would I ever totally feel free? And I don't feel confined in my body the way I used to, but there still will be some pain or ache that comes up that just rattles me every now and then. And then just the constant mind stuff. And even with the videos and the writing stuff, there's still a sense of trying to get it right, of urgency and putting stress on myself. And so to go out and just play and relax, I'm more comfortable here feeling stressed and anxious and ruminating and all that kind of stuff, because that's what I know. If people invite me out, and I only go if it is like super spontaneous, and I just can go if it's something that's, so basically it's got to be something I can't think about. So it has to be really quick, has to be adventurous enough that it would have me go. So, or it has to have a purpose. Now I'm feeling lost in this, and can you tell? I just, even jobs I've wanted to do, if there felt like there was a element of play, but I couldn't come up with the evidence or the reasons why I could make a living at it, then I don't let myself do it. So when I was crying last night, it was hard not to reflect on the way I grew up. And you think these get hard, and then it feels like these sometimes are just harder than other ones. But it talked about people that very much can relate to Stockholm Syndrome, or having compassion or empathy for your captors, your people that have abused you. And really not even, you don't have it for yourself, but you can find it for everybody else, even people that have violently hurt you. Can I give myself freedom and fun and play? I don't feel like I have direct access to that at this point, but I can give to anybody else. Then I felt scared about it, because I thought, how do you learn something you didn't know how to do? I went and made myself sit in the mud when I was like 10. Cover myself in mud because I saw other children do it. So that is free, and that is play. So that is what I went and did, and then I went in and showed that I had played. I was writing a list of thoughts that I had about play and relaxing, and thoughts were like, I haven't earned the right to play. I haven't earned the right to do what I want to do. I haven't earned my freedom. That was my experience growing up in every direction I went. And it's my mind saying, don't talk about this. You sound like a victim. You sound pathetic. After I had my twin girls, I went to a doctor. He was the head of Albert Einstein University psychiatric department. He said, after he read whatever my profile was, whatever I had to write out to even get in, that if he hadn't seen my age, he would have thought I was a Holocaust survivor. That is how my mind interpreted the way I was raised. Complete survival, didn't sleep, slept with a knife next to my bed, worried constantly, watch and observe behavior. I scoured every inch of everybody's room constantly to know what was going on so that I could handle whatever came my way. We had like 15 people living with us. I protected all the kids. I took care of my parents. I had to take care of grandparents. And then I was constantly tortured, for the lack of better word. Oh, this is so hard. I'm not sure why. I think my ego is just like, don't sound like a victim. You've forgiven these people. You're around them. Yeah, because I have compassion because they had hard lives. And I never look about how hard it was for me. I didn't have the experience of being able to earn something I have not taken away. Or getting good grades and being validated. I still was punished in some strange way. If I made it home on time, the clocks were changed so that I was still grounded. If I cleaned things and got ready for a dance, another thing would be added to the list so I couldn't go. Whatever was given to me was usually taken from me. I'm sitting here tapping. Terror was what I knew. So play seems dangerous. So play occurs as danger. So I didn't learn to sleep properly because if I slept, I was woken up at any time of the night anyway. Maybe to re-scrub a kitchen. It wasn't scrubbed properly. Or to go to work. I've had a job since I was 5. And I think people that don't know how to play, that's how they raise a kid. Or 7 kids in 8.5 years. And I was the oldest, so I just never felt safe to play. So I feel like I don't have a point of reference for it. And yet I enjoy play when I do it. Go to a movie, spend time with my nieces and nephews, or friends. And I'm always saying, gosh, I need to do that more. It's so refreshing. It's so good for me. But to do it repetitively is like, to me, like it'd be like going to the gym. And I hadn't been in years. It feels the same. That's how strong and convincing the mind is. And when you don't have a pattern of learning something, you've got to create it for yourself. And that's where I'm at. I have come so far in so many ways, but that's a big gap that I don't have. And so I got scared last night because I thought, how do I heal that for that little girl, that teenage girl? You know, I write these boys these long letters, and I get these letters back, and the letters were taken from me and hidden. It was just incessant. Why is this so hard? I don't. Whoever's watching this, if anybody is, thank you for being here. So Ollie makes this easier. So what I realized last night was that I can't fix, I can't replace her life. I can't teach her to play. But the girl that's here in these videos and creating this life from a past that doesn't match it, but because I'm choosing to express myself. Because I wasn't allowed to before. For 40 years. Where there was danger involved with expressing myself. Was I allowed to? Sure. Was there consequences? Yes. Oh, I want to shut this off. I want to shut this off.
And I'm staying here because I'm committed to freedom, and I'm committed to people being free that have been through experiences like this. Especially the ones that bust their asses to do good in the world because it's where you live. Because people deserve it. I deserve it too. That's just where I've got to build the muscle. So I know that if I can create forward in a space of nothing, if I try and build it on the past, it won't work. Oh my gosh, I want to delete this. I want to delete this. And those lists of thoughts, I thought, I haven't earned my freedom. I can't do what I want to do. All those things. So they do exist in the present moment. And they've existed long enough, been strong enough that that story is prevalent all over in my life. I don't know why I'm tapping, but I am. And those thoughts can be undone by feeling what that feels like to feel them and experience whatever I was shutting down before, and to undo the thoughts by questioning them. I thought about doing that on here, and I feel like it's hard because we're at almost 20 minutes now. But the way that I undo thoughts is to question them, and I use mostly a method that I learned from Byron Katie, where you you start with, is it true? I mean, fundamentally, is it true? I haven't earned the right to play. I don't know how to play. So I haven't earned the right to play. Is that true? Oh, I want to shut this off. I want to shut this off. Shit. I haven't earned the right to play. Is that true? And you just want to give an honest yes or no. And I guess I feel, yeah, I haven't. That story feels real for me. So, can I absolutely know that's true? I mean, as in like, know as God knows? No. I can't know that that's true. How does it feel when I believe that thought? I feel like I can't breathe. I feel constrained. I feel depressed. I feel sick. I feel anxious. I feel fucking furious. I feel like I'm in a cage. I feel angry. And what thoughts do I have? I'll never be able to play. I'll be trapped. I can never do enough to keep building this resume to be loved. Once I've done enough, then I can play. And everything's in order, I can play. And I get it signed off. I got it checked off. And once it's validated that I can play, that's how that occurs. And what do I see in the future and the past?
in the future, I see this is all there will ever be. That's what my mind shows me. That I'll never play, I'll never breathe fully, I'll never feel totally free. Cannot believe I'm doing this. Oh my God. And pictures from the past, being left in a room for days, being grounded for months at a time, keeping a list of things to do to earn my way out, and when I do them, I'm in trouble for doing them too quickly. Coming home from school all the time to take care of sick people. Not fully resting because I would hear animal or dog tags or chains or collars or things, and that meant someone was coming to get me to start the new list, or to see why my siblings' grades weren't where they're supposed to be, or why their curfew wasn't. I was held accountable for grades and curfews and social activities. So their punishment was mine, so I became a beast to protect myself. I see things that if I shared, I enjoyed them, they were taken away, made fun of. Feels rigid, feels robotic, like fake play. And what addictions come up with that? Oh, last night I really wanted sugar. I wanted to eat junk food. And I want to work harder. And then I want to take things away from myself. I see how even the way I eat food is so controlled, so that I can't, it's hard to even have fun with that. Like, I'll just put more control, put more things in place till I'm so rigid I have to figure it out. That's my MO. Just drop into terror and I will figure it out. Drop me in the middle of a war zone, I'm comfortable. And I will figure it out. Happily. No stress. Rest through the roof. They even tested me for it. The doctor asked if they could, and they did a test on me. My resting rates for your adrenal system are running by someone chasing you with a knife. So my body just doesn't know how to rest anymore. And these are the things I've added in there to these questions. So what am I afraid of by letting go of this thought? I'm not allowed to play. Is that I'm not allowed to play? Sorry, you can't help me. I haven't earned the right to play. I'm really worried this battery's going to run out after all this. Okay, so if I believe I have the right to play, then I'm afraid I will just play and I won't do things that are responsible. I won't earn an income. I won't lighten everybody else's burden. I won't be able to help people. You see how nuts the mind is? If you don't question it, it locks onto something and it doesn't give a flying fuck what you feel. And what can I not experience by having this? The right to play. So in the same space here, and even if I go back and I think about my life and how it looked, it's hard when you have so much evidence too. So many adults coming forward going, oh my gosh, that was a fucked up place. Like, thanks for saying it after we got out. And now I'm just cringing about my parents saying this. Oh, it makes me sick to my stomach. So in the same space here, in the feelings, if I could remove the thought, if the thought didn't exist, I haven't earned the right to play. I don't have the right to play. I wish I could remember what I started with. I don't have the right to play. What would I be experiencing if the thought couldn't exist? Same life, thought can't exist. I'd have fun. I'd do things that I want to do for just the love of doing them, because I love myself. I think I'm fun. I think I can be really cute and sweet. Insanely creative mind. If I couldn't believe the thought, I don't have the right to play. I'm going to just enjoy life. I'm going to enjoy things. I wouldn't be worrying as I'm experiencing them. And I may not necessarily run out and do a ton more things, but I would just enjoy the experiences that I'm having instead of stressing about getting back. So I guess we're going to keep going. Ugh. My legs are numb. So this is now what we call the turnarounds. And what this helps do is to create balance. And I'll show you. So the turnaround would be, gosh, could someone just send me a note about what I originally said? Probably should have written it down. This is all written down. It's actually on an app. The Work by Byron Katie. It's invaluable. And I would have done that on this, but here we are. I'm going to go with, I have the right to play. This one really shows me how intact this belief is. Sometimes when you do this, you feel it ease off quickly, and sometimes it takes a while to process. And because I've felt this since probably probably takes a little while. So I have the right to play. I do have the right. No one has the right to tell me I can't. Or is it, I'm going to go with I am allowed to play. Yeah, no one's stopping me. No one's telling me I can't. In fact, I get encouraged to play all the time. I get invited to play all the time. I am allowed to play. So it's sick for me. I am allowed to play. think it's my birthright. I think it's everyone's birthright. I'm not handcuffed to anything. I'm not locked in a room. I'm not locked in a car. I'm not tied to anyone. These are experiences that my mind actually needs to say out loud. I'm not physically tied by the neck to anyone, so I can move. That's how elementary and basic this is for me. Do I feel totally judged right now? Oh yeah, this is. I'm not under threat of physical assault. No one would berate me for playing. They would actually encourage it. Even my parents would. They'd be thrilled if I played. I would be thrilled if I played, like, consistently. Does my body know I'm allowed to play? Yes. My body likes to go. My body likes to play. So when I'm in my body and I'm present, I know I'm allowed to play. I play with you guys on here sometimes. I know, I'm a goofball. I play when I go to the grocery store. So I am allowed to play because if I am in public, I'm playing. I'm running up to people. I'm crawling around. I'm making animal sounds. I'm singing songs. If you see me on the freeway, I probably have a sign up in the window. When I do events, the most playful things and fun things you would ever be at. You were mesmerized by them. Am I allowed to play? Yeah. So you're supposed to give 3 pieces of evidence for that. I'm looking for another turnaround. I'm not allowed to play. I am allowed to play. I'm not allowed to work. On the things I want to. Because they feel like play. And the things I've wanted to work on threaten people, so they have adamantly been against them. I'm not allowed to work. I married someone that didn't want me to work at all. Hated that I worked. Was crazy pissed that I worked. It didn't matter if I made more money than him, I could provide all these things. He hated it. And I was scared every day that I worked. And I loved that I worked. I'm not allowed to work. I'm not allowed to work. I don't feel like I'm allowed to work because work is kind of like play for me. And it just looks weird to people. I'm not allowed to work. I'm not allowed to work on Sundays. I hated that growing up. I just wanted to do things and we weren't allowed to. I'm not allowed to work the way I want to work. It makes people uncomfortable. It doesn't look normal. That is just as true as I'm not allowed to play. In fact, it's more true. Because working is so freeing to me. I love it. It is my form of play, and that is where I feel like I'm not allowed to do it. I wanted to go to design school. I wanted to go be a fashion designer, and was like, no, there's gays and drugs there. So I'm not allowed to work. I wanted to work, and I had to be in school. So I ditched so I could work. But it looked weird. They got made fun of, so I wasn't allowed to work. And I wasn't allowed to work on things I wanted to because I paid the rent. I paid for school supplies. I paid for clothing. And I wasn't allowed to work in the classes I wanted to work in. And that's truer. That feels truer to me. I wasn't allowed to just be how I was. I didn't naturally play like other kids. So what? So what? See how the mind gets warped and trapped in there? So I have a story that I can't play, but it's really that I don't feel free to work how I like to work. It makes people uncomfortable. I sit on the ground and make messes. I do things without any kind of education, and I just start doing them, and people are like, you can't do it that way. Well, I do it that way. When is the battery's going to shut off? So the next turnaround, because I got to get through this now, is my thoughts aren't allowed to play. No, because I constrict them. I try and control them because it's too scary, and then I don't want to feel whatever my thoughts are saying about me, because I'm not allowed to work this way. If I play without working the way I'm supposed to, then everything's going to go to hell. So I try and control my thoughts because they're not even allowed to play. My thoughts aren't allowed to play. No, they can't just roam freely and create. It has to be in a regimen designed by itself. It's solving a problem it created. Okay, I'm going to leave this here because that's the gist of it, and I really don't want this video just to shut off in the middle of it and be weird for you guys and weird for me. So I'm going to post this. I'm freaking terrified. This is the scariest one ever. If it did you some good, I hope it did somewhere. And this is still something for me to process. Thank you. I'm turning this back on again. Charge the battery for a second. I didn't feel comfortable with how I had to take off like that. And not that I think there's 10 more to say, this is plenty long if you even survived it. I want my daughter to watch this and just tell me it's okay to even post it. I feel freaked. That being said, a few more things ran through. And so if you thought the questions were interesting or they made a difference for you, I just wanted to share a few follow-up things that came through. So the whole thing about I'm not allowed to work, that, like I said, is truer for me than not allowed to play, because they tend to actually distract myself through talking to others, getting on Facebook, texting. I get involved in other people's projects, all this stuff. And to me, it is a form of play, and so I do allow myself to play. I don't necessarily enjoy it the way I'd like to, but is there play involved? Yeah. But what I see from I'm not allowed to work, that is so much more powerful to me, because work occurs as play to me. And the things that I think the most fun, which are the arts, are things I feel like I'm not allowed to do for whatever reason. They don't feel important. They don't feel, and this is what the mind's saying, so they don't feel important. They don't feel justified. They don't feel something about giving back to the world or helping the world, which is insane, because the arts are what make the world go round as far as I'm concerned, and is what moves me and makes me cry and sob and love. And anything I shared that I wanted to do, there was, wasn't allowed, it wasn't okay, it wasn't safe, or wasn't, and yet I grew up in a family of artists. Not only that, you probably have all seen their art. I grew up in wasn't like, oh, my aunt and uncle and cousins were artists. They were the artists. They were famous. They were professional. So I didn't even grow up like with the ability of like, here's a cute drawing, want to look? It was like, went into the art critique. So if I didn't know how to be perfect at it the first shot, it wasn't worth the stress to me. I thought I had to be at their level immediately. So I still struggle with that. I think I've shared that. I can't do it perfect immediately. I just don't do it. I think a lot of that's where that came from. And growing up in a, family where, or just even a religion at the time where women really didn't work, and if it did, it was weird. So it was really like, well, it depends on the husband you marry or whatever. But when I was a kid, I was always drawing pictures of the house I was going to have or the business I was going to build, and yet I lived in a world where that wasn't a thing. It was a big internal struggle. So you can see where I've made a lot of decisions about work, and work that looks like play isn't okay for me. So when you do this kind of work, so if anyone's done Byron Katie, they may look at this and go, "You got a lot of stories in there still, you got a lot of thoughts." Yes, and I'll write them down. And which is clearly still stuff around my family and my parents and people that live with us, and my experience to break down, to free me. At the same time, I'm so quick to do that because it's efficient, it's proactive, it's transformed, it's enlightened, it's freeing, whatever. And that kid never got to feel pissed off, I don't think. As you can see, there was a lot of anger there. The rigidity that I experienced, real or not, or even if people agree or not, that is how I experienced it. So to run out and try and dismantle this as fast as I can without letting that grief come up and that anger come up is a disservice in every way. So is any of it true? It's a perspective. I get that. It's in the past. I get that. And I didn't feel it when it was there to feel because I shut down things and I just move through them. But my body doesn't. So I'm going to allow my body to process this how it processes it. And then I'll work on the thoughts as they come up. I'm not going to rush it. There's a finish line here. But there is honoring the experience that I'm in this moment. And in this moment, I'm hearing, don't shut it down. Don't try and erase it out with tips and tricks and techniques. Just let it unfold in front of you and feel it as it comes up. And it will sort itself out. But I never gave that kid the right. And I get to say now, and she gets the right to feel what she feels. Through me in the moment I feel it. You guys are some kind of warriors or nuts to have watched this whole thing. Amazing people. Can I take in that I'm amazing? I'm working on it. Crazy? Totally get that. Okay. Officially goodbye.